She awoke to darkness so thick it felt like a weight pressing down on her chest. Panic surged through her veins as she struggled to recall how she had ended up here. Her fingertips grazed cold, damp tiles as she pushed herself off the grimy floor. A single flickering light bulb buzzed to life overhead, casting elongated shadows that danced across the decaying walls. Amelia's heart pounded in her ears, drowning out the distant echoes of dripping water. The air was stale, heavy with the scent of mildew and something metallic, something like blood. Amelia was no stranger to fear, but this was different. Resourceful and determined, she had always prided herself on her independence, tackling life's challenges head-on. But the eerie stillness of the abandoned asylum gnawed at her resolve. Memories of her job as an investigative journalist flooded back. Perhaps she had dug too deep into stories better left untouched. Her throat tightened as she remembered the anonymous tip about the asylum's dark past. She had been trailing a story about missing women in the area. Was she now one of them? Her eyes adjusted to the dim light, revealing crimson messages smeared across the peeling wallpaper. "Find me," one read, the letters dripping like fresh wounds. Another proclaimed, "Time is running out." Her stomach churned as she realized the words were written in blood. A chilling breeze whispered through the corridor, carrying faint, distorted laughter. On the floor lay an old photograph of a patient, eyes scratched out, with a riddle scrawled on the back. "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. What am I?" Amelia's fingers trembled as she clutched the photo, her mind racing to find answers. Determination overshadowed her fear as she whispered, "An echo. The answer is an echo." A distant click echoed in response, and a door at the end of the hall creaked open. Steeling herself, she moved forward, each step heavy with dread. The asylum seemed alive, its very walls pulsing with malevolence. Rooms revealed scenes of torment. Rusty instruments, restraints worn thin by desperate struggles, and more blood-painted clues. The maniac was toying with her, setting a twisted game that preyed on her intellect and deepest fears. A wrong turn led her into a room where the floor gave way beneath her. She clung to a protruding pipe as jagged spikes glinted below. Sweat mingled with tears as she hoisted herself back up, her muscles screaming in protest. Gasping for breath, she realized that hesitation meant death. "You won't break me," she muttered into the darkness. But the asylum responded with more traps. A noose that descended silently from the ceiling, walls that inched closer to crush her, and haunting whispers that threatened to unravel her sanity. The climax came as she entered what seemed to be the heart of the asylum, a grand hall illuminated by candlelight. There, seated in a decrepit wheelchair, was the orchestrator of her nightmare, a gaunt figure whose face was obscured by a porcelain mask cracked with age. "Welcome, Amelia," he rasped. Rage and fear collided within her. "Why are you doing this?" she demanded. He tilted his head, the mask reflecting the trembling candle flames. "To show you the truth," he replied, removing the mask to reveal a familiar face. It was her own. Staggering backward, Amelia's mind spiraled into confusion. Fragments of memories resurfaced, her commitment to the asylum years ago, the experimental treatments, the day she vowed to expose the atrocities within. But something had gone wrong. She was not the hunter but the hunted, trapped in a cycle of her own unraveling psyche. The maniacal figure was a projection of her fractured mind. Realization dawned like a cold sun. "This can't be," she whispered. But the walls began to crumble, reality peeling away to reveal a padded cell. Amelia sat alone, hugging her knees as orderlies observed her through a small window. "She's reliving it again," one sighed. "Will she ever break free from this delusion?" Another shook his head. The mind is a labyrinth of its own. Inside, Amelia closed her eyes, the echoes of the asylum fading into silence. Perhaps, she thought, the only escape was to confront the darkness within. A serene expression washed over her face as she whispered, "You won't break me," not to the maniac, but to her own demons. And for the first time, the shadows recoiled, offering a glimmer of hope amidst the unending night.